So, guys, Sheriff Holt is now dead, and I can honestly say I think this is the only time I've ever really been truly pissed off at Wynonna Earp. Hi guys, my name is Maria Park and this is Approach the Nerd, and in this episode we are discussing the part 2 of Wynonna Earp. We're calling it the midsummer finale, or mid-season finale should I say, called The Holy War. And the only reason I'm calling it that is because I know they didn't have a chance to finish filming this season, so I don't know if next season will be considered the second half, like part B, part 2, or if they're just going to go ahead and say it's the next season. I don't know. But more than likely it will still be part 2 of this season. This episode. So I'm going to start off with something lighter, which in Wynonna Earp that really doesn't exist, but I will say that I love the banter between Jeremy, Nedley, Nicole, even though they couldn't hear her, and Waverly. We last left our previous episode in part 1. They had just finished drowning Nicole. We get a little bit of a back story, or lead us a scene prior to that with her, telling them what's, basically Jeremy's breaking down what's happening. They're going to drown her, transfer her consciousness into this little frog in this jar, and hold her there until they get rid of the timer runs out and they get rid of the hex via a spellbreaker exorcism in the water. Waverly comes in and freaks out, but Jeremy's able to talk her down and say, hey, this was Nicole's idea. She wanted this. She knew you wouldn't approve, but just trust us, trust her. So Waverly does, and so she's like babysitting this little frog, and she's like looking at the hourglass timer. Well, while this is happening, Margot Clanton, she basically feels that they're trying to break the spell. So she basically marks Waverly for the Reaper, which is Billy now. Side note, Rachel was still at the ranch, junkyard, whatever we're calling the Clantons area, house, land, whatever, and is discovered by Sheriff Holt, who takes her back to the police station and calls Doc instead of turning her into his mother. That is very important because I'm going to make a point later that he basically called Doc to come get Rachel when he could have just basically give her over to his mother. To God knows what would have happened. And Rachel can't see Billy, of course, because she's not marked. So while they're waiting for, the timer to run out to revive Nicole, Billy shows up as the Reaper to kill Waverly. And of course, she's the only one that can see it. Jeremy and Nedley can't. So she's like running around these tables. Well, Nicole is out of her body already in like ghost form. So even as a ghost, she protects her woman. She knocks the Reaper, or Billy Reaper, down to the basement of the bar, in Nedley's bar. And, they put the jukebox in, blocking him in the door. Well, unfortunately, during the scuffle, the frog jar gets knocked over. So now there's like 3 or 4 frogs that are all like in, and they don't know which one is Nicole. So they have to catch all the frogs. So Waverly comes up with the idea to kiss the frogs, which is disgusting. And, I understand The Princess and the Frog was a great movie and great, story, but no. So, no. So, but even Nicole was like, oh, it's gross, but, Nicole's able to go into the basement and possess Reaper Billy, because through the Reaper, she's able to tell them what she did. So they go down and Waverly and Nedley go down, and Nedley still can't see, Billy, but Reaper Billy, through Nicole, tells Waverly how she made a deal. If they brought everyone back from the garden, then she would bring her Doc. She'd be Margot Doc, because Doc is the one person that Margot hates more than the Earps, because she blames Doc for killing her family. So there's that. So this means Waverly gets in her head that she has to go confront Margot to be able to save Nicole and end all this poop. Simultaneously, Wynonna is with Doc, and they're staring at Rosita. If you remember in the last episode, she's standing between these two like mountain or rock, I'm going to say little mini boulders or rock formations. Well, we learned she can't leave there. She's been there the entire time, especially since the curse broke, because once she puts her feet down on the sand or the ground, she's going to end up like all the other Reapers. She's going to go poof. So Wynonna, after her and Doc give her some choice words for trying to kidnap or steal their baby, she concocts this idea they use the rainbow stones that used to hurt the Reapers before the curse ended and now protects them as like little steps. And then they have like a little, for some reason, the creepy nun symbol shows up and they're able to Wynonna and Rosita are able to teleport through it. Well, the nuns actually, and the leader of the nuns, expect them to fight to the death. And Wynonna doesn't want to do that because she promised Rosita she wouldn't hurt her, and she's trying to stick to her promise, which I will. I'm also going to say something about that in a minute. So her and Rosita go lock themselves in the weapon room, and then Wynonna talks a lot of mad trash until Peacemaker actually appears and comes to her, and she's able to shoot the main nun. Well, the other nuns were not as creepy as the head nun. They're actually victims of Wyatt Earp. They are actually revenants technically too, who can't leave that area. And so Rosita feels like she's at home because, you know, number one, there's more women for her to sleep with. And number two, she now has somewhere to be with people like her because she was a victim, you know, just wrong place at the wrong time and got shot, stray bullet. So, yeah. So that kind of worked out for Rosita. But before Wynonna left her, Rosita dropped the bomb that the reason she took Alice was also because she had a buyer, and it was Margot Clinton. So that irritated and ticked off Wynonna, and you could see it on her face. And so she goes back to the portal and she heads back to the bar where, you know, Nicole's like under the water dead. And she's like, you know, what the heck's going on? And they tell her that Waverly has gone after Margot has gone to the Clintons. So she heads that way too. Now, early in the episode, while Rosita and Wynonna were dealing with this, Doc was having a heart-to-heart, another one, with Sheriff Holt. And Sheriff Holt was even still saying, I don't want to be this anymore. I don't want to do this. I don't want to be in this endless feud with people I don't even freaking know because of my ancestors, you know? He wants to be sheriff. He's like, I want to do good. I want to be the sheriff. And I knew that about him because I said that in a previous review. And, you know, him and Doc kind of bonded. And I mean, I guess it was kind of like a sign of trust by him turning Rachel over to Doc and not turning her into his mother. So I was completely on board with this. And so when Waverly is confronting Margot, Margot tells her what the plan was and how she was the one that helped him get out of the garden by, you know, basically giving John Henry a sign of which door to go to. She says that, but basically, you know, she basically reveals that I want Doc, and that was pretty much Nicole's payment to bring her Doc. So Waverly's like, you know, screw that. So she had a rifle, and then Margot makes a mistake of telling Waverly, I have powers you can't comprehend, girl. And then Waverly says, so do I, which I already knew that was going to happen because, you know, she's half angel, and she puts her hands on Margot's head and she kills Margot. There's like blood coming out of her eyes and everything. Waverly killed Margot. Well, Sheriff Holt comes home and finds his mother dead, and Waverly's still there, and he pulls a gun on her right as Wynonna's there too with her. And Doc kind of shows up, and then he manages to talk Sheriff Holt down because Sheriff Holt, again, generally does not want to be in this feud with the Earps anymore. What irritated and pissed me off to no end was that Wynonna shoots him in the back. Like, Doc's like, let's go have a drink. And they're walking off together. And Wynonna shoots him in the back. And I'm like, what the? It irritated me because she literally saved and forgave the woman that was trying to kidnap her baby. She's always doing that. There's one guy who actually, if you really look at it, really hasn't done anything other than arrest her in the first episode or second episode when they were back. He arrested her. And let his sister be the judge. But really, what has Sheriff Holt done outside of that, this entire series? He hasn't sent a Reaper after anybody. He hasn't harassed anybody. He went to the bar and had a drink and talked to Doc. He's mostly been communicating with Doc this entire time. And Wynonna shot and killed him. And what's even more, to me, idiotic about that is the fact that he had inherited all of his mother's abilities. He became the new Clanton heir. If the new Clanton heir did not want to have war with the Earps, that would have ended everything. But now that you've killed him and Billy's a Reaper, the next in line is Cleo. So you just gave all of the Clanton power to the most psychotic one of them all. Oh, Wynonna, you're an idiot. And I understand that you were upset that you realized that they wanted your baby, because that's what that was. That was a vendetta shooting right there. And even Doc was like, that there's no honor in shooting a man in the back, and you know what you did was wrong. And Wynonna's trying to play it off and like, well, you know, I've had to fight all my life, all the demons and people coming after my family. No, No, ma'am. That was messed up. So Doc is not happy with her. So they're not, their relationship is very cute. But right now he's like seeing, I kind of feel like he's seeing more of Wyatt and Wynonna. You can see it on his face. She even says something to him that was so messed up. She's like, maybe you're just mad because my grandfather told the truth about you in that film. And back when they saw the film in the last episode, which was a low blow. That was a messed up thing to say. And then on top of that, you throw out to him, by the way, they wanted to, that family wanted to take our baby, basically, wanted to take Alice. It's like, yeah, Wynonna was not my favorite person in this episode. She was not. I was actually very ticked off at her. And I can actually say I've never really been ticked off at her before. So this is a new feeling. But I'm ticked off. Because, like, that was wrong. And it was stupid. And she's going to have to regret it. She's going to pay the consequences of this. This is not something that's going to go away. She had the opportunity to set right this feud. And she just threw fire onto it. And so now, whatever happens, happens. But that's on her. It is on Wynonna now. And I mean, that's just what it is. Nobody else. I mean, you can come at me at the comments, but that's how I feel. It is on her now. Anything that happens from this point on, it's her fault. I'm not trying to say Cleo is blameless, because it's more than likely going to be Cleo that causes the crap. But none of this would have happened because she wouldn't have had the power, and her brother kept her in check. And now that he is gone, she has no oversight. So this is on Wynonna. She did this. She set up her own villain. Is what it is. Something cute, though. I did like the fact that we got to see the proposal again. So everyone was at the homestead, and, Nicole is getting ready to ask, Waverly, and Waverly turns around and says, let me, and gets on one knee and asks Nicole, and she says yes, and it was very, very cute. So that was very cute. Really cute way hot moment. But now I have questions, like, so it was, early in the episode, Officer Holt told Doc about Billy and what his mother did to Billy. And right now Billy's still in the basement at the bar. So, I mean, I don't think that's the last we're going to see of Billy, because, Rachel's really into him. And so they may try to save him. I don't know how that's going to work, though. I mean, since Margot was the one that had the Reaper create him, and when she died, does that mean he goes back to normal, or will he just be Cleo's puppet? I don't know. Is there a way to unreaper somebody? I mean, we don't know. So that's a thing. Now that we have Peacemaker back, though, that also means a lot of more baddies are coming. Like, I'm convinced that she's going to have a lot of problems with Amon, I think his name is Amon. It went right out of my head. The nightclub, Demon nightclub owner. I think he's going to be the one that's trying to vie for big baddie of Purgatory. So that definitely could be a thing. And just a lot. There's a lot of questions that I have, and I just really want to know where Robin and Kate are, because it's bothering me that Kate is MIA. Mercedes right now we're not really seeing. And where in the heck is Robin? Because Robin is basically Jeremy's Nicole. So where is she? I mean, where is he? And why is Jeremy so kind of okay with his boyfriend not being there? It's weird. I'm hoping I'm not correct, and that Robin is being held hostage somewhere by the oversight, or the big wigs of the Black Badge Division, who apparently are very scary. And that's why Jeremy is basically working for them again, to keep his boyfriend safe, and he's not allowed to tell anybody about it. I mean, that's what I think is happening. And I'm wondering if Kate's in the same place. And that's where they were taking Nicole, had she not jumped off the train. So I have questions. But yeah, I'm overall not a bad episode. I just don't like the fact that I went into the mid-season finale thinking, oh, this is going to be so cool. And I'm leaving it with me being pissed off at Wynonna. And I'm going to be mad at her till 2021. So, but it is what it is. That's just how I feel about it, guys. But watching the episode, I would love to know what you guys think. So please leave me a comment below and let me know. And if you would like to sign up for jury duty, hit the subscribe button. If you'd like to know who's next on the Nerd Ballot, hit the notification bell. Until next time, I can't wait for you to approach the nerd. Bye, guys.
Thank you for watching my video. I really appreciate it, but hey, the party doesn't have to stop now. Click on one of these videos and keep it going.